Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with Saumya Bapna. He's got all in a rank of 63. And according to him, this was a pleasant surprise. So
Yes,
let's get to know more about that. So, very expecting this to happen.
not at all. This was a pleasant surprise, and when the result came in, I couldn't believe it. I somewhat got a anticipation of it because I calculated my marks, and there was a poll on the star group itself. I thought I would at least get Jodhpur, but then I got NLS, so that's
So,
great.
what is the score? How much did you score?
106.
106. Wonderful.
Yeah,
So, but I'm sure that you've taken lot many mock tests. So, did the
yeah.
mock test tell you that you would probably be here? Is a chance to be here?
Yes, but on the D day, it's completely different for me at least. And I thought I would mess up, and there's so much pressure. So I
So, what do you
thought
think you will mess up? Did
the
anything
pressure.
happen during your the mock test? Uh,
No, no,
where,
no.
where
Mocks
nothing.
were very relaxing. So,
Okay, wonderful. So tell me, what was your so obviously you didn't mess up, right? Which means
yeah.
that you. So what was your frame of mind when you entered the room? What were you thinking?
I just thought this was another test, and I just need to perform my best. I mean, that's what we all want to do, and basically, I thought I should manage my time very effectively, and that really worked for me in this case because the paper was really lengthy. So the fact that I was able to complete the whole paper was just very good, and the time management skills I applied there really served me.
Okay. So how long I've been prepping for this test?
I started. I'm a 2 year program student, so I started in 2020 May, I think. But I didn't really study the first year. I mean, it was 11th, so so I just attended classes and solved all the class sheets. That's it. Then in 12th, I started getting serious. So yeah.
So when you started the journey, what was the kind of a mock scores you started with?
The warm up mocks, I don't really remember, and I reset the warm up mocks, and took it again. So I don't know the score of my first attempt. Prime mocks, my first score was 105.
Oh, you started well, huh?
Yeah.
But was it the same throughout? You're always scoring more than
No, no, no.
100.
There were depths. When my percentile would fall down, it would get really disappointing, and but then again, I would climb up. So it was you know, we
So what was your prep routines? What are the stuff you used to do during your prep
prep.
for the class?
Earlier, I started with my 12th studies. I thought I'll just cover it up and leave it. Then at the end, just before the exam, I'll touch it again. So I did that. And along with that, I started making notes for GK so that I get an idea about it. But in the end, I stopped with the notes
Okay.
because that wasn't doing anything for me. I
Okay.
mean, it depends from person to person. This might work for someone else, but it didn't work for me. So,
Okay. So talk about each section. For example, let's start with English, logic. So what you were very good at it. Did you what,
uh,
in the beginning
no,
itself? What?
actually, at the inception itself, I wasn't very good at it because I've never been a reader. Never. Like,
Okay.
all I read was probably Geronimo Stilton and Harry Potter books. That's it. So I've never been a reader. So that was a big change for me because 6 passages and 30 minutes. So I had to up my reading skills and comprehension skills. So that took a bit of time, but then in the end,
What
all
is
was
so
good.
so what did you do for that? So you did not read. I'm sure that there will be many watching these videos saying that they also would be like you, did not have a habit of reading. But habit of reading really helps. But you did not have
Yeah.
habits. So what did you do to improve it?
I
Your reading.
newspaper articles, everything. and some other articles also on research papers and something I find interesting. So I went on the net and I started reading.
What is it, like a daily routine? So you have to read
Yeah,
every day.
yeah, every day.
So, so are you going to continue this in your life, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
like
definitely. I needed, yeah,
at least CLAT gave you one new habit? That's good.
yeah.
So what about your
Newspaper reading.
yeah? So what about your legal? So what do you do for legal?
Legal was quite appalling to me. I found it very interesting from the start because it was about decision making and the cases, especially criminal law. I don't want to sound bad, but all the murder cases were so intriguing. I found it very fun. So yeah, that helped. If you have a genuine interest in a subject, then automatically you get better at it as time passes. So yeah, legal I practice mostly case rates and principal fact questions. So yeah,
Okay, okay. Did you also practice the short ones, the short fact and
yeah,
simple one?
yeah.
Did that help? Do you think that?
Yes, because it helps us to directly apply the principle on the facts. So in the paragraph, we don't get a explicit principle itself. So to discern the principle from the paragraph, these short caselets help.
Okay. And let's get your maths. How was your
Yeah,
maths work?
maths was my favorite subject.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, just the time management part was a bit difficult, but that I got used to it in the end. So
So so in your initial preparation stage, you did not have a habit of reading, but maths was okay. You
yeah,
had some interest with respect to legal,
yeah,
so that automatically sort of you've spent time and
yeah,
improved it. Maths, you
yeah,
ensure that small thing you figured out, and English you work towards it and ensure that it
yeah.
started working. And so, what was your non GK score if I add in the CLAT all the
Non-GK score would be around 75.
how much did you get in
No,
GK?
sorry, maths also, right? So
Uh,
90.
so 90, right? So without the GK itself, you are 90. What happened in GK then?
GK, I worked a lot because at the initial stage, I was very bad at GK. I didn't know what was going on. I made notes of one-liner events. I didn't search anything. But gradually, through mocks, I got to know a lot about it. And then I developed a base and I started to build on it. That's it.
So eventually, I think that given the fact that how the GK turned out to be, your 90
Yeah,
marks from the rest of the sort of areas really
yeah. But
was in huh?
yeah, the GK was very unprecedented this time. I was about to have a breakdown during the paper, uh, but then the preparation helped a lot actually in the paper also. Like the deep ocean mission, you have heard it somewhere and you can connect it. And so some of the questions were a bit easy to answer, but overall, yes, GK was very unexpected.
Did you get the Zelensky question correct?
Yes. I was so stressed about that question. I couldn't move forward.
So you're like, I have to get this right now.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about it. Zelensky.
So during that test, what did you do? I mean, then you had. So when did you do your GK? You started with GK, or was it towards the end,
No,
or
no. I always started with legal because 8 passages. I just want to get it out of the way. 8 passages
okay,
done. So I
okay.
would feel good about myself. I'm at 8 passages done. So then I would move on to English because English mostly vocab based questions at least this time and
Hmm.
fill in the blanks or normal questions. It wasn't that difficult. Then I would take a break and move on to GK because GK is to fill in the gaps between reading sections. Then I would move on to logical reasoning and then maths.
So when you hit GK, you
Yeah,
saw this. At least you had got two sections. You
yeah,
at
yeah,
least you sorted two sections. You went to GK. So and then you said that you had almost had a breakdown. So
yeah.
what were your frame of how did you continue
The
the journey?
first logical passage I messed up because of this. I think because I wasn't able to think straight. I was just angry. I wouldn't even say angry. I was just disappointed at this point. with the consortium, but at the end I had to move on, and then I eventually figured it out. So I went ahead. I think logical reasoning section suffered a bit because of the GK question, GK section.
But then you had your maths. I think your fallback.
Yeah, yeah, maths. I recovered in between the logical section. So yeah,
So given what you've gone through, and especially your preparation, your expectation of the test, and actual experience in test. So for people who are taking the test next the coming season, I will say I can't say next year. I have to say coming season because the exam is happening in December.
yeah.
So for the admission for next year, exam is happening in December. So what would be your the advice to them?
I would say read a lot. You get used to the habit of reading a lot, because this time the paper was lengthy, and you should always expect a lengthy paper, I think, because that would actually help you. And you know, the habit of reading and comprehending easily is very instrumental in writing CLAT, because you don't get exhausted if you have the habit of reading. So that really helps. And I would say GK, so consortium can do anything, you can't do anything, just give your best, follow conduct, sir, and that's all you can do. If they throw a googly, now it's a googly for everyone, so at the end it doesn't matter.
So I have a new theory next year. This is my giving what I'm seeing this. I'm going to tell people you do GK towards the end. You because rest of the stuff. I mean, what will you feel? I'm sure that reading comprehension at least you will navigate it.
Yeah, yeah,
So reading
definitely.
comprehension, logic, go to math, and towards the end. So if at all some stupidity happens like this, then you will. I can always guess. I'm always feeling that a lot of people would have looked at GK very well in GK, would have probably started with GK, and then would
Yeah,
have got shocked. And
yeah,
my feeling is that many people would have missed out because of it. Uh,
yeah,
Many people made it because of the GK because they could
yeah.
handle it. So it's also important, I think, that you prep your mind for it mentally. So is there anything specific that you did to say that whatever happened, let it happen? So is that did you do anything or
I just thought about my backups. Key, I was like, okay, I have a backup. Now this is not gonna change my life like completely. Even if I fail at this, I'm just gonna go in there and do what I've been doing since the start. And yeah, and the atmosphere was very informal as well. I didn't feel like I was writing a CLAT mock, at least at my center. It was very, very
writing
chill.
a clat? Is that clat mock? Writing an actual clat?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
why
because
okay, because you
yeah,
said that. Okay, okay.
the center was pretty chill. Like everyone was on Instagram when I entered the room. People were watching reels and someone was reading a book. So I was like, okay. And then even I started watching YouTube. So that was okay. So it
So so so
was
so so in this whole journey, is there any sort of people that you want to give a shout out to, who's been there for
uh,
you, who helped you?
shout out to you, sir. First of all, you put in a lot of effort, especially with the Stark boot camp and the FADs and CADs. That were really helpful. Thank you so much for your effort. And the CL team as well, everyone. The I would like to also thank Kandak sir for GK. Although the GK didn't come, but it really helped. And then I would like to thank my parents, my brother, and everyone who's been beside
So,
me. All
so your brother is elder to you, younger to you.
yeah, elder too.
So he helped you with your process in any way.
No, he just teased me a lot, so he motivated me to you know perform well or excel in this field. So
So are there any other lawyers in your family, or you're the first one?
no, no, first one. Actually,
Wonderful.
I have a distant cousin who was one of the Supreme Court judges. So I was really motivated to see him. That's why I chose legal field. Like it was one factor. So yeah.
So now that you have the opportunity to study in one of the top law school in this country, or probably the top school in this country. Do you have any sort of plan, idea in terms of where you want to take this forward, or you're like, let's see what happens? Huh?
Let's see. I have no plan. We'll just go there and decide.
So you're putting a lot of effort. I'm sure that you're planning to party a lot now, or
Yeah,
you already started.
start.
All the very best, Soumya. All the very best. Thank you
Thank you,
for
sir.
chatting with me, and wish you the very
Thank you,
best.
sir. Bye.